Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we step into the fascinating and often misunderstood world of cult psychology. Not as something distant or strange, but as a window into the human mind itself. The same mind that longs for meaning, for belonging, and for connection. Because the story of cults is not only about extreme groups or powerful leaders. It is about how ordinary thoughts can be shaped, how identity can shift, and how reality itself can feel rewritten when we are surrounded by the right voices. It is about influence that feels like care, and certainty that feels like truth. As we move through this topic, you may begin to notice something deeper. The patterns that hold people close. The subtle ways belief and belonging can intertwine. And the quiet realization that these forces are not rare, but deeply human. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is settle in. Let your shoulders soften and notice your eyes grow heavy. And as the day begins to gently fade away, join me as we explore this hidden landscape of the mind together. Let's begin. Cults often recruit through belonging, not threats or force. The doorway is usually warmer than people expect. A person may arrive after a breakup, a move, a loss, or a season of feeling invisible, and suddenly there is a tension waiting for them. People remember their name. They ask thoughtful questions. They seem to understand what you are going through. This is why recruitment can feel less like pressure and more like rescue. The first hook is not doctrine. It is connection. A meal, a conversation, a shared purpose, or the feeling of finally being seen can soften the mind before any unusual belief is introduced. By the time the demands appear, the person may already feel emotionally woven into the group. What looks strange from outside can feel deeply human from within, because the group is answering one of the oldest needs we have: the need to belong somewhere. Charismatic leaders can make obedience feel like personal awakening. A powerful leader does not always sound commanding at first. They may sound certain, compassionate, gifted, or unusually calm. They speak as if they can see through confusion and name the hidden truth beneath ordinary life. For followers, obeying such a person may not feel like surrender. It can feel like finally becoming who they were meant to be. The leader frames discipline as growth, doubt as fear, and compliance as courage. This is the strange magic of charisma. It can turn another person's wishes into something that feels internal and chosen. People may begin to believe that the leader understands them better than they understand themselves. When that happens, instructions can arrive wrapped in meaning. A demand becomes a lesson. A sacrifice becomes proof. A loss of freedom can feel, for a while, like spiritual progress. Isolation turns ordinary group loyalty into a private reality. Human beings test reality together. We compare memories, notice reactions, and quietly measure our thoughts against people we trust. When a high control group cuts those outside ties, something important changes. The group becomes the mirror, the map, and the weather. Members may still live in ordinary streets or use ordinary phones, but emotionally, their world has narrowed. Outsiders are described as dangerous, asleep, selfish, or corrupted. Old friends begin to feel distant. Family concern starts to sound like attack. Inside the group, the same ideas are repeated from every direction, until they seem less like opinions and more like the air itself. This is how loyalty can become a sealed room. The person may not feel trapped, because every exit has been painted as a threat. Over time, the group's version of reality can feel safer than the wider world. Love bombing can make strangers feel like it was destiny to meet. At the beginning, the attention can be overwhelming in the most beautiful way. Newcomers may be praised, hugged, invited, admired, and told they have arrived at exactly the right moment. Their ordinary life suddenly seems full of signs. Their pain has meaning. Their talents matter. Their future has a place. Psychologists often describe this flood of affection as love bombing, but from inside it may feel like a miracle. The danger is not kindness itself. The danger is kindness, used as a switch. Once attachment forms, the warmth can become conditional. Approval may depend on attendance, obedience, confession, or deeper commitment. The same people who made someone feel radiant can later make them feel ashamed and afraid of exclusion. That contrast creates a powerful emotional loop. The person keeps reaching for the early glow, hoping to return to the moment when belonging felt effortless. When predicted events fail to happen, belief can sometimes grow even stronger. It seems obvious that a wrong prediction should break belief. Yet history shows the mind can move in a stranger direction. When people have sacrificed money, reputation, relationships, or years of life for a promised event, failure creates unbearable tension. One way to reduce that pain is to leave. Another is to reinterpret the failure as proof of something deeper. Perhaps the date was symbolic. Perhaps the group's faith delayed disaster. Perhaps outsiders were too impure to understand. This is where cognitive dissonance becomes so powerful. The more someone has invested, the harder it can be to accept that the foundation was flawed. Instead of weakening commitment, disappointment can sharpen it. Members may preach harder, recruit faster, and cling more tightly to one another. The prophecy failed in the outside world, but inside the group, it may be transformed into a new test of devotion. Thought reform works best when people feel chosen and afraid. Control becomes especially powerful when it offers two emotions at once. First, the person is elevated. They are told they are awake, special, brave, or part of a rare mission. Then, fear is introduced. The outside world is dangerous. Ordinary people are blind. Leaving means failure, corruption, or catastrophe. This combination can make the group feel both powerful and protective. The person is not simply following rules. They are protecting a sacred identity. Thought reform often works through daily repetition, emotional pressure, controlled information, and demands for confession. Slowly, old assumptions are replaced by group-approved meanings. Even private thoughts can begin to feel monitored. What makes this process so fascinating is that it does not always feel like coercion while it is happening. It can feel like purification, training, or rescue, because fear and pride are pulling the mind in the same direction. High-control groups often reshape identity before changing beliefs. Belief is not always the first target. Before a person fully accepts a worldview, a group may begin changing the social and emotional scaffolding around them. Their schedule shifts. Their language changes. Their friendships become group-centered. Their past is reinterpreted as broken, lost, or ignorant. Their future is described as meaningful only through the group's mission. Step by step, the person learns to answer a new question. Not just, what do I believe? But who am I now? Once identity is tied to membership, disagreement becomes more than intellectual discomfort. It feels like self-betrayal. This is why debates alone rarely free someone from deep control. The belief system may be wrapped around belonging, purpose, status, and memory. To question it can feel like watching the self come apart. Recovery often begins by rebuilding an identity that can survive outside the group. The strongest cages in cults are usually social, not physical. Many people imagine locked doors, guarded compounds, or dramatic escapes. Sometimes those things exist, but the more common prison is made of relationships. A person may be technically free to walk away, yet feel unable to survive the emotional cost. Their closest friends are inside. Their romantic life may be inside. Their work, reputation, daily routine, and sense of purpose may all depend on staying. The fear is not only punishment, it is disappearance from the only world that still feels real. Social control can be astonishingly effective because humans are wired to fear exclusion. In early human life, being cast out could mean danger or death. High control groups exploit that ancient alarm. The member may ask themselves where they would go, who would understand, and what would be left. The cage holds because it has been built from love, fear, habit, and identity. Confession rituals can turn private guilt into public control. Confession can be healing when it is freely chosen and met with compassion. In controlling groups, it can become something very different. Members may be encouraged to reveal doubts, desires, memories, mistakes, or private fears in the name of honesty. At first, this can feel cleansing. Secrets are spoken aloud, and the group seems to offer forgiveness. But once intimate information is collected, it can be used to shape behavior. A doubt becomes evidence of weakness. A past mistake becomes a reason to accept discipline. A private longing becomes proof that the self cannot be trusted. The person may begin confessing not because they feel safe, but because silence feels dangerous. Over time, inner life becomes less private. The group gains a map of shame, and shame is one of the easiest emotions to steer. What began as release can become a leash. Anyone can be vulnerable during loneliness, grief, or transition. The most unsettling truth is that susceptibility is not a sign of foolishness. It is often a sign of being human at the wrong moment. Major life changes can loosen the structures that usually protect us. A new city, a bereavement, a divorce, illness, unemployment, or the search for meaning can leave a person open to intense connection. During these times, certainty feels soothing. A ready-made community feels like shelter. A confident leader can seem like an answer arriving just when life became unbearable. This does not mean every lonely person is in danger or every unusual group is harmful. It means vulnerability is situational. Intelligent, kind, skeptical people can be drawn in when a group meets a need before asking for trust. Understanding this makes the subject more compassionate. The question is not why someone fell for it. The better question is what need was answered first. Cult psychology begins with normal human needs turned against us. The unsettling part is that the ingredients are not exotic. People need belonging, purpose, certainty, forgiveness, identity, and hope. These are not weaknesses. They are part of being alive. A high control group becomes dangerous when it takes these natural needs and places itself at the center of each one. It becomes the place where you are loved, the place where you are useful, the place where truth lives, and the place where fear can be relieved. Slowly, ordinary dependency becomes engineered dependency. The person may still believe they are choosing freely because the group appears to satisfy real emotional hunger. That is what makes the psychology so powerful. It does not always begin by breaking a person down. Often, it begins by offering something beautiful, them quietly making access to that beauty conditional on obedience, loyalty, and surrender. A warm welcome can become the first step toward dependence. The first meeting may feel surprisingly ordinary. Someone smiles at the door. Someone remembers a detail from your conversation. Someone introduces you as if you already matter. For a person who has felt overlooked, this can land with enormous force. The mind begins making associations before doctrine ever appears. This place feels safe. These people feel kind. My life feels brighter here. Over time, the welcome becomes a thread that pulls the newcomer inward. More events are suggested. More friendships form. More time is spent with people who share the same worldview. What began as hospitality can slowly become a replacement for outside support. The person does not notice dependence forming because it arrives dressed as care. By the time pressure increases, leaving may no longer feel like declining an invitation. It may feel like walking away from the only room where they are wanted. Shared secrets can make a group feel sacred and separate. A secret can feel like a doorway. Once someone is told that hidden knowledge has been trusted to them, ordinary life begins to look smaller. The group may reveal special teachings in stages, suggesting that only prepared minds can handle the truth. This creates a powerful emotional structure. The member feels honored, but also responsible. They are no longer just learning. They are being initiated. Secrecy also changes how people relate to outsiders. Friends and family may seem unable to understand because they have not been allowed into the inner circle. Even doubts can be silenced by the promise that deeper answers will come later. The mystery keeps the person moving forward. Each new layer makes the group feel more sacred, more separate, and more necessary. What is hidden becomes valuable, partly because it is hidden, and the act of keeping it can become proof of belonging. Us versus them thinking makes doubt feel like betrayal. One of the strongest shifts in a controlled group is the shrinking of moral complexity. The world is divided into insiders and outsiders, awake and asleep, pure and corrupt, loyal and dangerous. At first, this can feel clarifying. Life becomes easier to interpret when every criticism has a ready-made explanation. But the cost is enormous. Doubt no longer feels like thinking. It feels like crossing a border into enemy territory. A member who questions the leader may feel they are not just asking for evidence, but harming the mission, hurting friends, or betraying the people who saved them. This is how a social idea becomes an emotional trap. The group does not need to answer every concern if it can redefine concern as disloyalty. Over time, the person may learn to fear their own honest questions, because questions now seem to belong to the other side. Leaders often claim special knowledge that cannot be questioned. The claim may sound spiritual, scientific, political, therapeutic, or cosmic, but the structure is often the same. The leader presents themselves as the rare person who sees what others cannot. They may say they have decoded history, discovered the true path to healing, received a revelation, or understood the hidden system behind world events. This places them beyond ordinary challenge. If members ask for proof, they may be told they are not mature enough, pure enough, brave enough, or awakened enough to understand. The knowledge becomes unfalsifiable, which means it cannot be tested in any fair way. Every challenge is absorbed into the system. Agreement proves insight. Disagreement proves blankness. That is the fascinating danger of unreachable truth. It can make one person's imagination feel larger than reality itself, and it can train followers to distrust the very tools that might protect them. Sleep loss can make critical thinking softer and slower. Tired minds are more suggestible because they have less energy for resistance. When people are kept busy with meetings, service, study, rituals, travel, or late-night emotional sessions, their ability to evaluate information can begin to fray. The brain still works, but it becomes less patient with complexity. It reaches for simple answers. It leans more heavily on authority, habit, and the mood of the room. Sleep deprivation also makes emotions harder to regulate, so fear feels louder, praise feels more powerful, and shame cuts deeper. In a high control setting, exhaustion can look like devotion. A member may even feel proud of pushing past normal limits, yet the private cost is a shrinking inner space. The person has fewer calm moments in which to ask, "Does this make sense?" Fatigue becomes invisible pressure, and the group's explanations can slide in while the mind is too worn to hold the door. Repetition can make strange ideas feel familiar and true. The human brain has a soft spot for familiarity. A statement heard many times begins to feel smoother, easier to process, and sometimes more believable, even when it has not been proven. High control groups often use this ordinary mental shortcut with remarkable skill. Slogans, songs, readings, testimonies, and repeated phrases create a world where the same ideas arrive again and again from trusted mouths. At first, a claim may sound odd. Later, it sounds recognizable. Eventually, it may feel obvious. This is not because the person is careless. It is because the mind often uses ease as a signal. If something feels fluent, it can seem true. Repetition also reduces the shock of unusual beliefs. The extraordinary becomes background music. Over time, the group's language can become the members' internal language, and thoughts that once seemed imported begin to sound like their own. Public commitment makes leaving harder than private doubt. A private doubt can be carried silently. A public promise is heavier. Once someone has declared loyalty in front of others, donated money, recruited friends, cut ties, changed their appearance, or spoken passionately about the group online, leaving becomes psychologically harder. The problem is not only embarrassment. It is the painful clash between past certainty and present uncertainty. People naturally want their lives to feel coherent. We want yesterday's choices to make sense today. Public commitment turns belief into reputation, and reputation can become a cage. The person may wonder what others will think, who they have influenced, and whether they can admit they were wrong. This pressure can keep someone performing confidence long after confidence has faded. The stage remains lit, the audience is watching, and the easiest role to keep playing is the one they already announced was true. Small sacrifices prepare the mind for larger ones later. Control often grows by inches. A newcomer may first be asked to attend one extra meeting, volunteer for one afternoon, skip one outside event, or share one personal story. Each step seems manageable. Each one can be explained as commitment, growth, or generosity. But small sacrifices change the relationship between the person and the group. After giving something up, the mind often looks for a reason why the sacrifice was worthwhile. This makes the group feel more valuable because people tend to treasure what has cost them. Later, bigger demands do not arrive as sudden shocks. They feel like the next natural step on a path already begun. This gradual process is one reason high control can be hard to see from inside. Nobody wakes up one morning having surrendered everything. More often, they cross 100 tiny bridges and only later notice how far the shore has disappeared. Group chanting can synchronize bodies, voices, and emotions. When people chant together, something physical happens beneath the meaning of the words. Breathing falls into rhythm. Voices merge. The body begins to feel part of a larger pattern. This can be moving, beautiful, and harmless in many traditions. In a controlling environment, however, the same human response can be used to intensify loyalty and reduce separateness. A person who arrived anxious or doubtful may feel their edges soften as the group sound surrounds them. The shared rhythm can create calm, excitement, awe, or surrender. It can also make the leader's message feel less like information and more like atmosphere. The experience is powerful because it bypasses debate. It is felt in the chest, the throat, and the breath. Afterward, members may interpret the emotional unity as proof that the group is true, when it may also be the natural result of bodies moving together. Uniform clothing can gently erase personal identity cues. Clothing tells stories before people speak. It hints at taste, background, mood, status, rebellion, modesty, confidence, and belonging. When a group asks members to dress alike, the change may be presented as simplicity or humility. Yet it also alters the social mirror. Individual style becomes less visible. Group identity becomes more visible. A person may begin to experience themselves less as a separate individual and more as one part of a collective body. Uniforms can also make rank easier to display. A color, badge, robe, or special garment can show who is advanced and who is new. This creates a visual ladder that everyone learns to read. The fascinating part is how subtle the shift can be. The member may feel they have escaped vanity, while the group has gained another way to shape self-perception, obedience, and the meaning of belonging. New names can make old identities feel distant. A name is not only a label. It carries childhood, family, memory, culture, embarrassment, affection, and the sound of being called back into yourself. When a group gives someone a new name, it can feel like rebirth. The old life is framed as confused or wounded. The new name belongs to a purified self, a mission self, or a self approved by the group. This can be emotionally intoxicating, especially for someone who wants to escape pain or shame. But it can also create distance from previous relationships and personal history. Family members may keep using the old name, and that can begin to feel like disrespect or even danger. The group name becomes a badge of transformation. Over time, the person may start to remember their former self as someone else entirely. Changing a name can therefore change the path by which memory returns home. Loaded language can shrink complex thoughts into simple slogans. Every community has its own vocabulary, but high-control groups often create words that do more than communicate. They compress judgment. A single phrase can label outsiders, dismiss criticism, explain suffering, praise obedience, or condemn doubt. This loaded language is powerful because it saves members from thinking through messy questions each time they arise. Instead of asking whether a concern is reasonable, they can file it under a group-approved term. Instead of wrestling with grief, they can repeat a phrase that tells them what grief means. The vocabulary becomes a mental shortcut system. It can even make outside conversation difficult because ordinary words no longer carry the same meaning. Members may feel that outsiders simply cannot understand, when in reality the group has narrowed the available language for understanding. Once complex life is reduced to slogans, control becomes easier because the mind has fewer tools left for nuance. Fear of outsiders can make isolation feel protective. Isolation is easier to accept when the outside world is painted as a threat. Members may be told that critics are jealous, corrupt, hateful, asleep, dangerous, or spiritually infected. Family concern becomes manipulation. Journalists become enemies. Former members become bitter warnings. The result is not just distance from outsiders, but suspicion toward anyone who might offer another perspective. This fear can make the group feel like the only safe island in a hostile sea. Even loneliness is reinterpreted as protection. The person may believe they are being shielded from contamination, temptation, or confusion. That belief can be deeply comforting because it turns restriction into care. The more frightening the outside becomes, the more loving the inside appears by contrast. This is how a shrinking world can feel like rescue. The walls are still walls, but the person has been taught to see them as shelter. A moving testimony can persuade more strongly than evidence. A story can reach places that statistics cannot. When someone stands before a group and describes being lost, rescued, healed, or transformed, listeners may feel the message before they evaluate it. The face, the trembling voice, the tears, and the emotional arc all create a sense of truth. This does not mean the speaker is lying. Many testimonies are sincere. The danger comes when personal experience is treated as proof of every claim the group makes. A moving story can make doctrine feel alive. It can also make questioning seem cruel, as if asking for evidence insults someone's pain. High-control groups often understand this very well. They place testimony near the heart of persuasion because it turns belief into human drama. The listener does not only hear an argument. They witness a life apparently changed, and the mind naturally leans toward stories that feel complete. Shared hardship can make group bonds feel unbreakable. People who suffer together often become close. Long hours, difficult missions, harsh living conditions, public criticism, or exhausting training can create bonds that feel deeper than ordinary friendship. In healthy settings, shared hardship can build trust and courage. In controlling groups, it can also make people more dependent on the very system that caused the strain. Members may interpret exhaustion as proof of devotion. They may feel that nobody outside could understand what they have endured. The hardship becomes a private history, and private history becomes glue. This is one reason difficult experiences do not always push people away. Sometimes they bind people more tightly, because leaving would mean admitting that pain was unnecessary. The group may even frame suffering as purification, making discomfort feel noble. What began as pressure becomes identity, and the people beside you in the struggle begin to feel impossible to abandon. Rituals can make authority feel ancient, natural, and deserved. Authority becomes more convincing when it is wrapped in ceremony. A leader who simply gives orders may seem ordinary, but a leader who stands at the center of repeated rituals can begin to feel larger than life. Special gestures, set phrases, symbolic objects, music, lighting, and carefully arranged spaces all tell the body that something important is happening. The meaning is not only in the words. It is in the timing, the posture, the silence, and the expectation. Ritual can make a hierarchy feel as if it has always existed, even if it was invented recently. Members may obey not because they have examined the leader's claims, but because the surrounding ceremony has trained them to feel reverence. This is the power of repeated form. It can transform ordinary authority into something that seems timeless, deserved, and woven into the natural order of things. Mystery can increase devotion when answers are carefully withheld. A question can be more powerful than an answer when it is managed well. Some groups keep members reaching forward by suggesting that fuller truth is always one step away. The next level will explain it. The next training will reveal it. The leader knows, but the member is not ready yet. This creates a ladder of curiosity and status. Not knowing becomes proof that you must continue. The withheld answer gains emotional value because access to it is restricted. People may work harder, give more, and tolerate confusion in order to reach the promised clarity. Mystery also protects the group from scrutiny. If something seems contradictory, members can be told the explanation exists beyond their current understanding. The mind is left leaning toward a door that never fully opens. Devotion grows not only from what is taught, but from the belief that the most important truth is still hidden ahead. Contradictions are often reframed as tests of loyalty. When a leader changes a rule, denies an earlier statement, or explains failure in a new way, members may notice the inconsistency. In ordinary life, that could lead to challenge. In a high-control group, contradiction can be turned into a spiritual or moral exam. The member is told that only pride demands perfect logic. True devotion trusts beyond confusion. Mature followers do not get trapped in details. This reframing is powerful because it makes clear thinking feel inferior to obedience. The person may learn to distrust the discomfort that contradiction creates. Instead of asking, "What changed?" they ask, "Why am I struggling?" Over time, the group can become less accountable because every inconsistency is moved inside the member's character. The contradiction remains, but the burden shifts. The problem is no longer the leader's words. The problem is the follower's insufficient faith, humility, or understanding. Shame can become a leash when confession is controlled. Shame is one of the most private forms of pain. It tells a person not just that they made a mistake, but that something is wrong with who they are. A controlling group can use this feeling with precision. Once members have revealed intimate fears, desires, regrets, or doubts, leaders may return to those disclosures whenever obedience weakens. The person can be reminded of who they were before the group, what they confessed, or why they cannot trust themselves. This makes dependence feel necessary. The group becomes both the accuser and the supposed cure. Shame also narrows imagination. A person who feels morally damaged may not believe they deserve freedom, privacy, or ordinary respect. They may accept harsh treatment as correction. That is why controlled shame is so dangerous. It does not need chains. It teaches the person to hold the leash themselves. Rewards and punishments can arrive unpredictably, deepening attachment. One of the strangest findings in behavioral psychology is that uncertainty can be more gripping than consistency. When approval arrives at unpredictable moments, people often work harder to receive it again. A leader may praise a member warmly one day, then criticize them coldly the next. A privilege may be given, removed, then restored without clear explanation. This creates a powerful emotional rhythm. The person keeps searching for the rule behind the change and often decides the problem must be inside themselves. They become more careful, more eager, and more alert to the leader's mood. The same pattern appears in gambling machines, where uncertain rewards can keep people pulling the lever. In a high-control group, the reward is not money. It is affection, status, forgiveness, or belonging. Unpredictability turns the group into a puzzle the member keeps trying to solve. The promise of purity can make normal doubt feel dangerous. Purity is a beautiful word until it becomes a weapon. In controlling groups, it may mean clean thoughts, perfect loyalty, correct speech, approved relationships, or total devotion to the mission. At first, this can feel uplifting. A person may believe they are leaving confusion behind and becoming morally clear. But the standard often moves higher the closer they get. Ordinary doubts, tiredness, frustration, attraction, sadness, or private disagreement can be treated as contamination. The member begins to monitor their own mind as if thought itself were dangerous. This creates a strange inner split. Natural human complexity becomes something to confess, crush, or hide. The promise of purity then keeps people chasing a state they can never fully reach. Instead of finding peace, they may become more dependent on the group for correction, cleansing, and reassurance that they are still worthy. Charisma often grows when followers reflect it back. A leader's magnetism is not created by the leader alone. It is also built by the crowd. When followers gaze with devotion, repeat stories of special insight, celebrate small gestures, and treat ordinary words as profound, charisma becomes amplified. Newcomers see the reaction before they understand the reason for it. They notice how people lean forward, laugh at the right moments, fall silent at the leader's entrance, or describe personal encounters as life-changing. The group teaches the body how to respond. Over time, the leader can appear more extraordinary because everyone behaves as if they are. This does not mean charisma is fake. It means it is socially produced and socially maintained. A person can walk into the room as a leader, but the followers help build the atmosphere that makes them feel almost impossible to question. Leaders may seem prophetic by reading ordinary social cues. What looks like supernatural insight can sometimes be skilled observation. A leader may notice posture, clothing, hesitation, age, accent, emotional tension, or the way someone reacts to certain words. From these small signals, they can make statements that feel astonishingly personal. They may say someone has been wounded, feels misunderstood, struggles with family, or is searching for purpose. These guesses often land because they describe common human experiences, especially among people who come to a group needing comfort. When a statement is right, it is remembered. When it is wrong, it may be reinterpreted or forgotten. This selective memory strengthens the illusion. The leader appears to see hidden truths, while members supply meaning from their own lives. The effect can be powerful because being known so quickly feels intimate. Once someone believes the leader can read the soul, ordinary advice may begin to sound like destiny. A closed group can make the outside world seem unreal. When every meal, conversation, lesson, and friendship happens inside one social world, the wider world can begin to fade. News is filtered. Outsiders are summarized. Former friends are discussed as cautionary examples rather than full people. The member may still see streets, shops, and families, but emotionally those things feel distant, almost theatrical. The group becomes the place where reality has weight. This can happen without physical walls. A person can live at home and still inhabit a closed mental environment if most of their attention flows through one community. Over time, outside values may seem shallow or dreamlike. Ordinary ambitions, such as education, career, privacy, or romance, may feel like distractions from the only story that matters. The closed group does not merely offer beliefs. It offers a total stage on which life makes sense, and everything beyond the stage grows dim. Leaving can feel like losing a family, language, and future. Exit is rarely just a change of opinion. For many people, it is the collapse of an entire life structure. The friendships they relied on may disappear overnight. Words that once organized reality may no longer work. Plans for marriage, work, service, salvation, or meaning may suddenly feel impossible. Even ordinary choices can become frightening, because the group may have decided what to read, who to trust, how to dress, and what emotions were allowed. Leaving can therefore feel like stepping into a country without a map. The person may grieve people who are still alive, because those relationships remain behind a wall of loyalty. They may also grieve the version of themselves that believed with such intensity. This is why compassion matters. Departure is not simply escape. It is also mourning, translation, and the slow rebuilding of a future from scattered pieces. Former members often grieve both belief and belonging. When someone leaves a high control group, outsiders may expect relief to arrive immediately. Sometimes it does, but grief often comes with it. The person has not only lost a set of ideas, they may have lost songs, rituals, jokes, shared meals, daily purpose, and people they genuinely loved. Even harmful groups can contain real friendships and meaningful memories. That mixture can be confusing. A former member may miss the community while rejecting the control. They may feel anger and tenderness in the same day. They may remember moments of beauty and wonder whether that means leaving was wrong. This is part of the healing process. The mind has to separate what was human from what was coercive. Belonging does not become fake simply because control was present. Grief acknowledges that something real was lost, even when freedom was necessary. Cult influence can continue long after physical escape. The body can leave before the inner rules do. A former member may no longer attend meetings or obey leaders, yet still feel watched, judged, or afraid. Certain phrases may echo automatically. A normal mistake may trigger old shame. A disagreement with a friend may feel like dangerous rebellion. This is because control often becomes internalized. Over time, the group's voice can become part of the person's own self-talk. It may tell them they are selfish, unsafe, doomed, impure, or incapable of thinking alone. Recovery involves noticing those implanted patterns and slowly testing them against ordinary life. That process can be subtle and brave. The person may choose a book, visit family, sleep late, change clothes, or say no without explaining. Each small act can loosen an old command. Escape is not only geographical, it is the gradual return of inner privacy. Recovery often begins when private questions become speakable again. In a controlled environment, questions may survive underground for a long time. A member may notice unfairness, contradiction, fear, or exhaustion, yet have nowhere safe to place the thought. The turning point often comes when one question is spoken to someone who does not punish it. It might be a friend, therapist, former member, sibling, or even a diary. The question does not need to be dramatic. It may be as simple as, "Why am I afraid to ask this?" Once spoken, the thought becomes real in a new way. It can be examined rather than hidden. This is powerful because control thrives on isolation inside the mind. When private doubt meets a safe listener, the group's monopoly over meaning weakens. Recovery often begins not with certainty, but with permission. Permission to wonder, to compare, to remember, and to think without immediate fear. Healthy communities allow doubt without threatening love. A useful way to understand control is to compare it with healthier forms of belonging. In a healthy community, disagreement may be uncomfortable, but it does not cost a person their basic worth. Questions are not treated as contamination. Boundaries are respected. Friendships can exist outside the group. Leaders can be challenged without turning the challenger into an enemy. People are free to leave, rest, change, and grow. This does not mean healthy groups are perfect. Every community has tensions, rules, and shared expectations. The difference lies in whether love is used as a gift or as a lever. When affection depends on obedience, belonging becomes conditional in a dangerous way. When people remain valued, even while asking hard questions, the community can breathe. Doubt then becomes part of learning, rather than a crime against loyalty. The Stanford prison study shaped debates about power and roles. In the early 1970s, a psychology experiment placed students into a mock prison, with some assigned as guards and others as prisoners. It became famous because the situation appeared to change behavior with startling speed. The guards grew controlling, and the prisoners became distressed enough that the study was stopped early. For decades, it was used as a warning about how roles and environments can pull ordinary people into harmful patterns. Later, researchers raised serious criticisms about its methods, including the influence of instructions, expectations, and demand characteristics. That debate is part of what makes it important. The study is not a simple proof that anyone becomes cruel in uniform. It is a cultural landmark in the question of how social roles, authority, performance, and setting shape behavior. Its legacy reminds us that power is never just inside one person. It also lives in the stage we build around them. The Milgram experiments revealed frightening obedience to perceived authority. In the 1960s, volunteers were told to administer electric shocks to another person as part of a learning experiment. The shocks were fake, but the volunteers did not know that. As the apparent voltage increased, many became visibly distressed. Some protested, sweated, trembled, or pleaded to stop. Yet a surprising number continued when the experimenter calmly instructed them to proceed. The findings became famous because they showed how ordinary people could act against conscience under the pressure of legitimate-seeming authority. The most disturbing part was not blind cruelty. It was conflict. Many participants seemed torn between personal discomfort and the belief that the authority figure was responsible. This matters deeply for cult psychology. Harmful obedience often does not feel like wickedness from the inside. It can feel like fulfilling a role, following expertise, and transferring moral responsibility to someone who claims to know better. The Ash experiments showed how groups can bend perception. Imagine looking at a line on a card and knowing exactly which comparison line matches it. The answer is obvious. Then everyone else in the room gives the wrong answer with total confidence. In Solomon Ash's classic conformity experiments, many participants went along with the group at least some of the time, even when the evidence was right in front of their eyes. Some doubted their own perception. Others knew the group was wrong, but did not want to stand apart. The lesson is both simple and astonishing. Humans do not only see with the eyes. We see within a social field. Agreement can feel like safety, while disagreement can feel physically tense. In a high-pressure group, this tendency becomes stronger. When everyone around you appears certain, your own correct perception may begin to feel lonely, risky, and strangely fragile. Jonestown became a tragic warning about totalistic obedience. The tragedy in Diana in 1978 remains one of the most devastating examples of what can happen when isolation, fear, devotion, and authoritarian control converge. Members of People's Temple had once been drawn by promises of racial equality, social justice, and community care. Over time, the movement became more controlling, and its leader demanded increasing loyalty. In the remote settlement of Jonestown, outside scrutiny was framed as persecution, and leaving became psychologically and physically difficult for many. The final catastrophe shocked the world because it revealed how a community built on idealism could be transformed into an instrument of obedience. It is important to remember the people there as human beings, not as a stereotype. Many were seeking dignity, fairness, and belonging. Their story warns us that noble language can become dangerous when one leader controls information, fear, punishment, and the meaning of sacrifice. Heaven's Gate showed how cosmic beliefs can reshape identity. Heaven's Gate developed a worldview that blended religious ideas, science fiction imagery, and apocalyptic expectation. Members came to believe that their earthly bodies were temporary vehicles and that a higher existence awaited beyond ordinary human life. What makes the group psychologically fascinating is how completely identity could be reorganized around this belief. Members adopted new names, shared routines, and tried to reduce personal attachments that tied them to normal society. The group's language made extraordinary ideas feel systematic and internally consistent. To outsiders, the beliefs seemed bizarre. To insiders, they formed a complete map of destiny, discipline, and escape from a flawed world. This shows how powerful a closed meaning system can become. When every part of life is interpreted through one cosmic story, the self can be reshaped to fit that story, even when the consequences become unimaginable from the outside. Aum Shinrikyo mixed apocalypse, status, and pseudoscience with control. Aum Shinrikyo began in Japan as a spiritual movement that combined meditation, prophecy, yoga, and claims of hidden powers. Over time, it drew in educated followers, including people with scientific and technical training. This surprises many observers, but it should not. Intelligence does not prevent the desire for certainty, status, or transcendence. The group offered members a sense of elite knowledge and a role in a world-ending drama. Pseudoscientific language gave unusual claims an appearance of depth and precision. Inside such a system, ordinary moral boundaries can be rewritten by apocalyptic urgency. If the world is ending, extreme actions can be made to seem necessary, even sacred. The group's history is a chilling reminder that danger does not always arrive wearing ignorance. Sometimes it borrows the language of science, spirituality, and destiny, then fuses them into a closed system of obedience. The Manson family revealed how devotion can distort moral judgment. The Manson family was not a large organization with formal doctrine in the usual sense. It was a small, volatile group centered around one man's charisma, manipulation, and control over vulnerable young followers. Its horror lies partly in how personal devotion became detached from ordinary moral limits. Members were drawn into a world of music, rebellion, apocalyptic fantasy, drugs, and intense group dependence. Within that world, the leader's interpretations could become more real than outside reality. The case remains culturally haunting because it showed how intimacy itself can become a path to control. A living room, a ranch, a song, or a late-night conversation can become part of the psychological universe, where the leader's approval matters more than conscience. It reminds us that coercive power does not always require institutions. Sometimes it grows through closeness, confusion, and the slow replacement of personal judgment. NXIVM showed how self-help language can hide coercive control. NXIVM presented itself as a path to achievement, confidence, ethics, and personal growth. Many people first encountered it through workshops that sounded like executive coaching or self-improvement. That is what made its public face so effective. The language was modern, polished, and aspirational. Participants were encouraged to overcome limiting beliefs, build discipline, and become more successful. Yet beneath the surface, control deepened through hierarchy, secrecy, financial pressure, personal disclosure, and loyalty to the founder. The case is important because it challenges the stereotype that coercive groups always look strange from the beginning. Sometimes they look professional. Sometimes they promise empowerment. Sometimes the first step is a seminar, a workbook, or a mentor who says they can help unlock your potential. It shows how the language of healing and ambition can be twisted when accountability disappears and one person's authority becomes untouchable. Some cults begin as therapy, business, religion, or politics. There is no single doorway into high control. Some groups begin around spiritual salvation. Others form around psychological healing, financial success, political revolution, health practices, education, or artistic community. This variety matters because people often look for danger in the wrong costume. They expect robes, chants, compounds, or strange prophecies. But coercion can grow wherever strong needs meet unchecked authority. A business seminar can become a hierarchy of devotion. A therapy circle can become a system of confession and dependence. A political movement can make dissent feel like betrayal of humanity itself. A wellness community can turn health into moral purity. The topic is therefore broader than the word cult suggests. The key question is not whether a group seems unusual. The key question is whether members can question, leave, keep outside relationships, and remain fully human without punishment. High control can hide inside ordinary rooms and respectable words. The most unsettling forms of control may not look dramatic at all. They can happen in offices, rented halls, living rooms, retreat centers, online classes, or group chats. The language may sound calm and respectable. Growth, service, excellence, healing, loyalty, mission, family. None of these words is dangerous on its own. The danger lies in how they are used. Does growth mean surrendering boundaries? Does service mean exhaustion without consent? Does family mean you cannot leave without being shamed? High control often hides by borrowing words people already trust. That is why appearances can mislead. A group does not need to look extreme to become extreme in practice. The real signs are found in patterns. Who holds power? Who can challenge it? What happens to those who say no? The room may look ordinary, while the psychology inside it is anything but ordinary. Apocalypse beliefs can make urgency feel like proof. When a group believes the world is close to collapse, ordinary patients can start to feel dangerous. There is no time to think slowly, compare evidence, or wait for outside advice. The crisis itself becomes the argument. If everything is ending soon, then extreme obedience can seem practical, even compassionate. Members may accept exhausting schedules, broken relationships, or impossible demands because delay feels like betrayal. Apocalypse beliefs also give daily life a powerful charge. The conversation is not just a conversation. It is part of a final battle, a rescue mission, or a cosmic deadline. That intensity can be intoxicating, especially for people who once felt ordinary or unseen. The more urgent the message becomes, the more important the member feels. In that state, fear and purpose can blend together until panic feels like evidence that the group must be right. Countdown dates can turn anxiety into shared spiritual adrenaline. A date on the calendar can change everything. When a group names the day of transformation, disaster, rescue, or revelation, time itself becomes charged. Every sunrise feels closer to the promised moment. Meals, meetings, dreams, and private fears all gather around one approaching point. Members may watch the news differently, searching for signs. They may scan weather, politics, illness, or coincidences for confirmation. The countdown creates a shared emotional current, and anxiety becomes something people experience together. That can feel strangely bonding. Sleeplessness, trembling excitement, and dread may be interpreted as spiritual sensitivity rather than stress. Even ordinary events can seem meaningful because the mind is primed to connect them to the deadline. A countdown does not merely predict the future. It reorganizes the present, pulling attention toward one imagined horizon until the group feels suspended between ordinary life and something enormous about to arrive. Failed predictions can be explained as miracles, mercy, or misunderstanding. When a promised event does not happen, the story rarely ends automatically. A flexible belief system can absorb failure and return stronger. The leader may say disaster was delayed because the group prayed hard enough. They may say the prophecy was fulfilled invisibly, on a higher plane, or in a symbolic form. They may blame members for insufficient purity, outsiders for interference, or themselves for receiving the timing incorrectly while preserving the larger message. Each explanation protects the core belief from collapse. This is fascinating because the failure becomes usable. It creates a new chapter, a new lesson, and sometimes a new demand. Members who already sacrificed for the prediction may feel a deeper need to make those sacrifices meaningful. Instead of walking away, they may accept the revised story because it saves the emotional world they have built around the promise. Cognitive dissonance can make contradiction feel mentally painful. The mind likes its pieces to fit together. When actions, beliefs, and evidence clash, people can feel real discomfort. That discomfort is called cognitive dissonance, and it matters deeply in high control groups. Imagine someone who believes their leader is wise, but then watches the leader behave cruelly. Two truths now collide. The person can revise their view of the leader, but that may threaten friendships, identity, and years of commitment. Another path is to reinterpret the cruelty as discipline, testing, or hidden wisdom. This reduces the pain without requiring escape. The mind is not being foolish. It is trying to restore coherence. Dissonance can make people defend the very thing that hurt them, because admitting the contradiction would shake too much at once. In this way, the need for inner order can become a doorway through which control protects itself. Sunk costs can keep people loyal after serious doubts. The longer someone has given themselves to a group, the harder it can be to leave with a clean heart. Time has been spent. Money has been offered. Relationships may have been damaged. Careers, education, or other dreams may have been postponed. When serious doubts appear, the person faces not only the question of truth, but the weight of everything already paid. This is the sunk cost trap. The past cannot be recovered, yet the mind keeps trying to justify it by continuing forward. Leaving can feel like declaring those sacrifices wasted. Staying allows the hope, but they will finally make sense. High control groups often benefit from this invisible accounting. Each demand increases investment, and each investment makes the next demand easier to accept. The tragedy is that the person may keep giving the future to protect the meaning of the past. The need for certainty can make simple answers intoxicating. Uncertainty is tiring. It asks the mind to hold several possibilities at once, and life is already full of pain, chance, and ambiguity. A controlling group can become powerful by offering answers that feel complete. Why suffering happens. Who is good? Who is dangerous? What the future holds? What every feeling means? For someone worn down by confusion, this clarity can feel like oxygen. The world stops being messy and becomes readable. The cost is that simple answers often require the person to ignore complexity. Nuance becomes weakness. Ambivalence becomes disloyalty. The group may reward confidence over curiosity until certainty itself feels holy. This is why the appeal can be so strong. People are not always drawn in by madness. Sometimes they are drawn in by relief. A simple answer, delivered at the right moment, can feel like a door opening in a dark room. Belonging can overpower evidence when identity is at stake. Evidence does not enter the mind alone. It arrives surrounded by relationships, fear, hope, and the need to remain part of a meaningful world. When belonging is tied to belief, contrary evidence becomes emotionally dangerous. A document, testimony, contradiction, or outside concern is not just information. It threatens the person's community, role, and sense of self. The mind may push it away before fully examining it. This is not rare or strange. Human beings are social creatures, and social safety often feels more urgent than abstract accuracy. In a high-control group, the stakes are raised further. Accepting evidence may mean losing friends, purpose, status, or family contact. So the person may defend the group, not because the evidence is weak, but because the cost of accepting it feels unbearable. Truth has to compete with the terror of exile. Social rejection activates pain systems inside the human brain. Being excluded is not only emotionally unpleasant. The brain can process social rejection in ways that overlap with physical pain. This helps explain why group belonging has such deep power over behavior. For most of human history, survival depended on staying connected to others. Rejection could mean vulnerability, danger, and loss of protection. That ancient alarm still lives inside us. In a controlling group, even subtle withdrawal can hurt. A colder greeting, a missed invitation, a public correction, or a sudden silence can feel alarming in the body before the mind explains it. Members may rush to repair their standing because the discomfort is so immediate. The group does not need constant punishment if disapproval itself feels painful enough. This makes social belonging one of the most powerful tools of influence, because the threat of exclusion speaks in a language older than words. Ostracism can make return to the group feel relieving. When someone is pushed to the edge of a community, the silence can become unbearable. Friends stop responding warmly. Meals feel tense. Messages go unanswered. The person may be physically present, but socially invisible, which can be more painful than open conflict. In that state, returning to obedience can feel like breathing after being held underwater. A confession, apology, renewed promise, or public display of loyalty may bring smiles back. Suddenly, people embrace them again. The relief is enormous, and the lesson is unforgettable. The mind learns that safety depends on compliance. This is why ostracism can be such an effective form of control. It punishes without leaving obvious marks. It also makes reconciliation feel like love, even when the affection was deliberately withheld. The person may become grateful to the same system that created the loneliness. Secret ranks can make members chase approval forever. Visible hierarchy is powerful, but hidden hierarchy can be even more captivating. When members suspect that deeper levels exist, they may begin to search every interaction for signs of progress. Did the leader notice them? Were they invited to a smaller meeting? Did someone hint that they were almost ready? Secret ranks create a ladder that is partly imagined, which makes it difficult to know when one has climbed enough. The group can keep people striving by revealing status slowly, unevenly, or mysteriously. Advancement may require loyalty, donations, recruitment, silence, or personal disclosure. Each step suggests that the next will finally bring clarity or belonging. This keeps members emotionally engaged, even when they are tired or uncertain. The hidden ladder turns approval into a horizon. However far a person walks toward it, there is always another level glowing just beyond reach. Special missions can make exhaustion feel meaningful and noble. Fatigue feels different when it is given a sacred explanation. A member who might normally recognize burnout may instead believe they are carrying the future of humanity, protecting the innocent, healing the world, or helping fulfill a once-in-history task. The body says rest, but the mission says continue. This can be deeply compelling because meaning changes suffering. Long hours, poor sleep, financial strain, and emotional overload become signs of devotion rather than warning signals. The group may praise those who give the most, turning exhaustion into status. Members can feel proud of needing less comfort than outsiders. Over time, the mission becomes a lens that transforms self-neglect into heroism. This is psychologically powerful and dangerous. It allows a person to override their own limits while feeling elevated by the sacrifice. The more tired they become, the more noble the struggle may appear. Constant busyness leaves little room for independent reflection. A crowded schedule can become a form of thought control without looking like one. Meetings, service work, training, study, calls, group meals, online tasks, and late-night discussions can fill the day so completely that solitude disappears. The member may feel purposeful, but the mind loses the open space where doubts usually grow clear. Reflection needs time. It needs boredom, wandering, comparison, and unobserved thought. Without those pauses, people often rely on the explanations already provided by the group. Busyness also keeps outside relationships weak because there is always another obligation. A family visit can be postponed. A private hobby can fade. A quiet evening can feel selfish. Over time, the rhythm of life belongs less to the person and more to the group. The schedule becomes a current. It carries members forward so steadily that stopping to think can feel like falling behind. Information control works by narrowing the world of comparison. People understand their lives by comparing them with other possibilities. A controlling group can shape those comparisons by deciding which books, websites, friends, experts, histories, and testimonies are safe. The goal is not always total censorship. Often, it is guided interpretation. Members may be told that outside material is biased, spiritually harmful, manipulative, or too advanced for them. They may read criticism only through group responses that explain it away. This narrows the mental landscape. If a person cannot fairly compare the group's claims with other perspectives, the group appears stronger than it is. Information control also affects memory. Members may forget how many ways there are to live, think, worship, love, or heal. The world becomes smaller, and the group becomes larger within it. Freedom of thought depends not only on intelligence, but on access to honest comparison. Outsider criticism can strengthen loyalty when leaders predict persecution. Criticism does not always weaken a high-control group. It can become fuel when leaders have prepared members to expect attack. If a journalist investigates, a family worries, or a former member speaks out, the leader can say, "We told you this would happen." The criticism then appears to confirm the group's story. Members may feel proud rather than concerned because opposition has been framed as proof of importance. This is a clever psychological trap. It makes outside warning signs difficult to use. The more pressure comes from beyond the group, the more members may close ranks. They may interpret concern as hatred and evidence as propaganda. This does not mean outsiders should stay silent. It means criticism must be delivered with care. Direct attack can sometimes activate the very defenses the group has built, while respectful questions may reach places that accusation cannot. Persecution narratives can turn concern into proof of enemies. A persecution narrative tells members that the world is not merely mistaken, but actively hostile to their goodness. This can transform ordinary concern into something sinister. A parent asks too many questions, and suddenly they're trying to sabotage awakening. A therapist suggests boundaries, and they become part of a corrupt system. A friend says the group seems controlling, and that concern is treated as spiritual blindness or envy. The narrative protects the group by changing the meaning of love from the outside. Instead of hearing worry, the member hears attack. Instead of considering evidence, they feel called to defend the sacred circle. This is emotionally powerful because it gives suffering a heroic frame. Being misunderstood becomes proof of being chosen. The more isolated the member feels, the more the story appears true. Concern has been turned inside out until care looks like danger. Members may police one another without direct orders. A leader does not need to watch everyone when the group learns to watch itself. Members may correct speech, report doubts, question friendships, praise obedience, or shame hesitation. Often, they believe they are helping. They may think they are protecting the mission, saving a friend from weakness, or maintaining the purity of the community. This peer control can be more effective than direct authority because it comes from every direction. A person is not only concerned about the leader's judgment, they are concerned about the mood of the room, the whispers after a meeting, or the friend who might mention a concern to someone higher up. The social atmosphere becomes self-enforcing. Everyone participates in maintaining the boundaries, even those harmed by them. This is one of the most fascinating features of group control. Power becomes distributed, and obedience begins to look like community care. Surveillance feels stronger when nobody knows who is watching. Uncertainty can make surveillance feel almost everywhere. If members do not know who reports to leadership, which conversations are repeated, or what online activity is noticed, they may begin to monitor themselves constantly. A person might soften a question before asking it. They might avoid meeting an outsider alone. They might hide a book, delete a message, or rehearse acceptable language before speaking. The group does not need cameras in every room. Suspicion can do some of the work. When people feel possibly observed, they often behave as if they are definitely observed. This creates an inner guard. The member starts controlling their own expressions, thoughts, and relationships to avoid trouble. The most powerful surveillance is not always the kind that sees everything. It is the kind that makes a person wonder at every moment whether this will be seen. A leader's unpredictability can keep followers emotionally off balance. Predictable rules allow people to relax. Unpredictable authority keeps them scanning for danger. A leader may be tender in one meeting and furious in the next. They may reward a behavior on Monday and condemn it on Friday. They may change expectations, deny promises, or test loyalty without warning. Followers then become experts in reading tone, posture, silence, and mood. The retention narrows around the leader's emotional weather. This can create a bond that feels intense because the member is always waiting for the next shift. Relief becomes powerful when approval finally returns. Confusion can even make the leader seem deeper, as if ordinary consistency would be too simple for someone so special. In reality, unpredictability weakens independent judgment. People become less focused on what is right and more focused on what will keep them safe today. Extreme rules can seem reasonable after many tiny steps. The mind adapts to gradual change with astonishing ease. A rule that would have seemed absurd on the first day can feel normal after months of smaller adjustments. First, there is a suggestion. Then, an expectation. Then, a standard for serious members. Then, a test of loyalty. Each step is close enough to the last that it does not feel like a dramatic break. This is how a person can look back and wonder when life became so restricted. The answer is often that there was no single moment. The boundary moved slowly. The group may also praise each adjustment as maturity, courage, or deeper commitment. By the time the extreme rule arrives, the person has already accepted the logic that supports it. This gradual escalation is powerful because it changes the sense of normal itself. The strange becomes ordinary, one small surrender at a time. Humor can quietly reveal doubts before people can admit them. A joke can carry a truth that feels too dangerous to say plainly. Inside controlling groups, members may make small, nervous jokes about exhaustion, strange rules, leader favoritism, or the impossibility of ever doing enough. Everyone laughs, and the moment passes. Yet the laughter matters. It can reveal that more than one person has noticed the same tension. Humor creates a tiny pocket of shared reality where doubt can breathe without fully declaring itself. This is why some leaders dislike unsanctioned joking. It loosens fear. It makes the sacred machinery look human for a moment. A joke can shrink an untouchable authority down to ordinary size. Of course, humor alone does not free someone, and it can also be used cruelly by groups to shame outsiders or weaker members. But when it rises from honest discomfort, it may be the first small crack in the performance of certainty. Children raised inside cults may inherit fear before belief. For a child, the group is not a choice at first. It is the weather of life. The rules are there before questions form. The leader's picture may be on the wall. Certain outsiders may be spoken of with dread. Certain books, clothes, feelings, or friendships may be treated as dangerous. A child can absorb the emotional nap before understanding the doctrine behind it. They learn which questions make adults tense. They learn when to smile or to hide, and how to sound faithful. Fear becomes part of the background, like the smell of a childhood home. This matters because early learning enters the body deeply. Even after growing up and leaving, a person may feel anxiety before they can explain why. The belief may fade, but the old alarm system can remain, waiting to be gently retrained by safety, time, and patient care. Second-generation members often question what converts once chose. A convert usually remembers a before and after. They can compare the group with an earlier life, even if that earlier life has being reinterpreted. A child born inside has no such contrast. The group's rules may seem like reality itself. Yet this can create a different kind of questioning as they grow older. They may wonder why they must defend promises they never made. They may ask why adults describe sacrifice as freedom when it feels like pressure. They may notice that converts speak of being saved, while they themselves feel they were assigned a role before they had a voice. This is one reason second-generation members can become especially important witnesses. They reveal what a system feels like when its ideas are not chosen at the door, but inherited at the cradle, woven through school, family, friendship, and the first meanings of home. Family bonds can be used as rewards or threats. Few influences reach deeper than family. In high-control groups, that bond can be turned into a powerful instrument. Parents may be praised when children obey, blamed when they doubt, or pressured to place loyalty to the group above ordinary affection. Spouses may be told that spiritual progress depends on correcting one another. Siblings may learn to report private conversations. The threat is rarely only punishment from leaders. It is the possible loss of the people whose love feels essential. A member may comply because they fear being separated from a child, shunned by parents, or judged by a partner. This makes control feel personal at every level. The group does not need to stand between strangers. It stands inside the home, shaping the meaning of love itself. When family affection becomes conditional on obedience, the heart can feel like contested ground. Romantic pairing may become another tool of group control. Romance can be one of the most private forms of choice, which is why controlling groups may try to manage it. Leaders may approve relationships, discourage outside partners, arrange marriages, separate couples, or teach members that attraction must serve the mission. This can make intimacy dependent on loyalty. A relationship may feel blessed when it strengthens the group, then suddenly feel suspect when one person begins to doubt. Partners can be turned into monitors of each other's faithfulness. Love becomes tangled with reporting, correction, and status. In some groups, being allowed to date or marry can feel like a reward for obedience. In others, celibacy is framed as higher devotion. The details vary, but the pattern is similar. Control over romance reaches into attachment, desire, future planning, and the longing to be chosen. When the group governs love, it gains influence over one of the deepest human hopes. Food rules can mark loyalty through the body. Food is never just fuel. It carries comfort, memory, culture, family, and identity. When a group controls eating, it can make loyalty visible in the most ordinary moments. Members may avoid certain foods, follow special diets, eat only at approved times, or treat meals as tests of discipline. A rule around food can create a daily reminder that the group's authority reaches into the body. It may also separate members from outsiders. A family dinner becomes complicated. A workplace lunch becomes a moral decision. Even hunger or craving can be interpreted as weakness, impurity, or attachment to the old self. This gives the group repeated opportunities to define what obedience feels like physically. The person does not only think the belief, they taste it, swallow it, and organize their routines around it. Control becomes part of the body's calendar. Fasting can intensify emotion and reduce mental stamina. Fasting has deep roots in many traditions, and it can be meaningful when freely chosen and safely practiced. In controlling groups, however, it may be used to heighten vulnerability. When the body lacks food, mood can shift. Attention narrows. Emotions may feel sharper. Fatigue can make complex thought harder to sustain. In that state, a long meeting, a leader's speech, or a collective ritual may feel unusually powerful. The person may interpret lightness, dizziness, tears, or mental fog as spiritual breakthrough rather than physical strain. This is where the danger lies. The body's stress signals can be renamed as devotion. If members are praised for endurance, they may push past their limits to prove sincerity. Fasting can then become less about reflection and more about submission. The empty stomach becomes another place where authority speaks, and the weakened mind may find it harder to answer back. Music can carry doctrine deeper than ordinary speech. A melody can make an idea memorable before the mind has examined it. Words set to music return easily, almost by themselves. A phrase sung with others may be recalled years later with surprising force, along with the feelings that surrounded it. This is why songs can be so powerful in high-control groups. They can make teachings emotional, rhythmic, and shared. A doctrine that sounds flat in a lecture may feel beautiful when carried by harmony. Music also organizes the room. People breathe together, pause together, rise together, and feel part of something larger than themselves. None of this is automatically harmful. Music can comfort, inspire, and unite. The danger comes when some narrow thought, glorify obedience, or make doubt feel cold compared with the warmth of collective sound. The tune becomes a path by which belief enters memory and stays there. Dance and rhythm can produce powerful feelings of unity. Movement can persuade the body before the intellect catches up. When people clap, sway, march, bow, or dance in rhythm, they often feel more connected and more trusting. The individual body begins to experience itself as part of a larger pattern. In many communities, this is joyful and harmless. In controlling groups, it can become part of a larger atmosphere of surrender. A person who felt separate may feel swept into shared motion. The rhythm reduces self-consciousness and increases emotional intensity. It can also make the group feel more alive than the outside world. Afterward, members may describe the experience as proof of truth or destiny, when it may also reflect the deep social wiring of human bodies moving together. Rhythm is ancient. Long before written doctrine, human groups used synchronized movement to bond, prepare, mourn, celebrate, and believe. Sacred spaces can make ordinary instructions feel transcendent. Place changes perception. A room with symbols, silence, special seating, candles, music, or carefully controlled lighting can make people more receptive before anyone speaks. The same sentence delivered in a plain hallway may feel practical. Delivered in a charged ceremonial space, it may feel profound. High control groups can use this effect to elevate ordinary commands. A request for money, confession, labor, or obedience can seem less like human instruction and more like sacred duty. The setting tells the nervous system that something important is happening. Members may lower their voices, move differently, and interpret emotion as confirmation. This is one reason environments matter so much in influence. Architecture, decoration, and ritual arrangement can frame authority. The room itself becomes part of the message. It teaches people how to feel before it teaches them what to think. Confession can feel freeing before it becomes a record. There is a reason confession can feel powerful. Speaking a hidden thing aloud can reduce loneliness and bring relief. In a trusting setting, it may help people grow. In a controlling group, that relief can create a dangerous opening. Members may be encouraged to share private desires, doubts, family pain, failures, or fears. The first experience may feel tender and cleansing, especially if the group responds with warmth. But if those disclosures are recorded, remembered, or repeated upward, the meaning changes. What was offered as vulnerability becomes information. Later, it can be used to pressure the person, question their motives, assign discipline, or explain why they should trust the group more than themselves. The betrayal is often slow. The person may not realize a file has been built until the past is brought back at just the right moment to keep them obedient. Propaganda works best when mixed with real kindness. Purely harsh messages are easier to reject. Persuasion becomes more effective when it is surrounded by genuine care. A group may offer meals, childcare, friendship, encouragement, and practical help, while also feeding members distorted ideas. The kindness makes the message feel safer. People think, if they love me, they must be telling me the truth. This is psychologically important because harmful systems are rarely harmful every minute. They may include laughter, generosity, and moments of sincere comfort. That mixture is part of what makes them difficult to leave and difficult to explain afterward. Outsiders may focus only on the control, while insiders remember the warmth. Propaganda wrapped in kindness can bypass suspicion because it arrives through trusted hands. The lesson is not that kindness is suspect. It is that real kindness can be used as a carrier for unreal claims when accountability is absent. Many members join during sincere searches for meaning. People rarely enter controlling groups because they want to be controlled. Many arrive during a genuine search. They want to understand suffering, serve others, heal old wounds, find community, build a better world, or touch something larger than themselves. These are noble desires. The danger appears when a group claims to be the only safe answer to them. A person seeking meaning may be especially responsive to certainty, ritual, mission, and belonging. They may overlook warning signs because the group seems to offer what ordinary life has not. This makes the topic more compassionate and more fascinating. The beginning is often not foolishness. It is longing. High-control groups can grow by meeting people at the level of their best hopes, not only their fears. They promise a life that matters, and for many, that promise is powerful enough to open the door. Intelligent people are not immune to manipulation. Intelligence can solve many problems, but it does not erase human needs. A brilliant person can still feel lonely, ashamed, grieving, ambitious, curious, or desperate for purpose. In fact, intelligence can sometimes help someone defend a belief system more skillfully once they are inside it. They may build elaborate explanations, reinterpret evidence creatively, and argue themselves past discomfort. High control groups can also flatter intelligence. They may say the teachings are too advanced for ordinary minds, or that members are part of a rare intellectual elite. This makes clever people feel recognized. Manipulation does not require stupidity. It often works through timing, emotion, trust, and social pressure. A person can be highly educated and still be vulnerable to a community that meets a need with precision. This is one of the humbling truths of cult psychology. The mind is powerful, but it is not separate from the heart. Education alone does not cancel the need to belong. A degree can teach critical thinking, but it cannot make a person immune to isolation. Human beings are not brains floating in glass jars. We think through relationships, identity, hope, and fear. An educated person may understand logical fallacies in a classroom, yet still struggle to challenge a group that contains their closest friends. They may recognize manipulation in theory, but miss it when it arrives through affection, praise, or shared mission. Education can provide tools, and those tools matter. But tools must be reachable in the moment. When belonging feels threatened, the nervous system may move faster than analysis. This explains why doctors, engineers, teachers, scientists, artists, and executives have all become involved in controlling movements. Knowledge protects best when combined with emotional support, open conversation, rest, and the freedom to compare ideas without punishment. Belonging is not childish. It is human. Doubt often survives quietly long before a person leaves. Leaving may look sudden from the outside, but inside, it can take years. Doubt often begins as a small discomfort that the person pushes away. A cruel remark, a broken promise, a punishment that feels wrong, a teaching that no longer fits lived reality. At first, the member may blame themselves. They may pray harder, work harder, study harder, or confess more. Yet the doubt does not vanish. It waits. It gathers other moments. Eventually, the mind begins keeping a hidden archive of things that do not fit. This private archive can grow silently beneath a surface of loyalty. The person may still sing, serve, smile, and defend the group, while a deeper part of them is counting contradictions. When leaving finally happens, outsiders may think one event caused it. Often, that event was only the last stone placed on a scale that had been tipping for a long time. Private journaling can preserve a self the group cannot edit. Writing alone can be a quiet act of resistance. A journal gives thoughts a place to exist before the group can rename them. It can preserve details that might later be denied, softened, or reinterpreted. What happened today? What was said? How it felt? What did not make sense? To someone inside a controlling environment, this record can become a lifeline to their own perception. The page does not interrupt, correct, shame, or demand loyalty. It simply holds the mind's first version of events. Over time, patterns may appear. The person may see repeated fear, shifting rules, or moments when kindness depended on obedience. Journaling can also protect the memory of the earlier self, with its own language, preferences, and questions. Even if no one else reads it, the act matters. It says, "My inner life still belongs to me." One trusted outsider can become a lifeline back to reality. A single relationship outside the group can make an enormous difference. It might be a sibling who keeps calling without attacking, an old friend who stays warm, a co-worker who listens carefully, or a therapist who does not mock belief. The key is trust. Direct confrontation can make a person retreat if they have been taught that outsiders are enemies. But steady kindness can keep a bridge open. Through that bridge, the member may remember that care exists beyond the group. They may test a question, share a concern, or compare versions of reality. The outsider does not have to win an argument. Often, they simply need to remain safe enough to be contacted when the inner world starts to crack. That kind of patience can be heroic. It offers the person something control has tried to remove, a place where love does not require agreement. Exit counseling now focuses more on respect than confrontation. Earlier approaches to leaving controlling groups were sometimes dramatic and forceful, and some caused harm of their own. Modern support tends to emphasize consent, dignity, and careful conversation. The goal is not to overpower the member with a rival form of control. It is to help them think freely again. This may involve asking open questions, exploring personal values, comparing information sources, discussing emotional pressure, and rebuilding connections outside the group. Respect matters because shame and coercion often deepen dependence. A person who feels attacked may cling harder to the group for safety. But when they are treated as intelligent and worthy, their own critical thinking has room to return. Good exit support recognizes that people are not problems to be solved. They are people whose trust has been captured. Recovery begins more safely when freedom is modeled, not forced. Trauma bonding can confuse fear, relief, and devotion. When harm and comfort come from the same source, attachment can become deeply tangled. A leader or group may frighten, shame, punish, or isolate a member, then offer warmth, forgiveness, and belonging afterward. The relief can feel so intense that it is mistaken for love. This cycle teaches the nervous system to crave the return of safety from the very place that removed it. Over time, the person may defend the group, because leaving would mean losing both the pain and the relief that follows it. Trauma bonding is not simple affection. It is attachment shaped by extremes. The mind may remember the beautiful reconciliations more vividly than the fear that made them necessary. This helps explain why people can miss harmful environments after leaving them. They are not missing the harm itself. They are missing the powerful relief that came when the harm temporarily stopped. Recovery can require rebuilding choice in very small steps. After life in a controlled system, freedom can feel strangely overwhelming. Choices that once seemed ordinary may now carry anxiety. What should I wear? Who should I call? What do I believe? What do I want? If the group made decisions for a person, the inner muscle of preference may need time to strengthen again. Recovery often happens through small experiments. Choosing a meal without guilt, resting without permission, reading an unfamiliar book, saying no and discovering that the world does not end. These moments may look simple from outside, but they can be profound. Each choice teaches the nervous system that autonomy is survivable. Over time, the person learns to hear their own signals again. Desire, discomfort, curiosity, and judgment begin to return. Freedom is not only a door opening, it is learning, step by step, how to walk through it. Former members may miss the certainty they escaped. Freedom can feel strangely spacious after life inside a closed system. There are more choices, more voices, and more possible meanings than the person has carried for years. That openness is healthy, but it can also feel frightening. A high control group may have answered every major question. Who is good? What matters? Where history is going? How to interpret pain? After leaving, the world can seem morally complicated again. This does not mean the person wants to return to control. It means the nervous system may miss the relief of simple answers. Certainty can feel warm, even when it was built from fear. Recovery often involves learning to live with unanswered questions without rushing toward the first person who promises to solve them all. In time, uncertainty becomes less like danger and more like air, wide enough for curiosity, humility, and choice. Nightmares can follow the collapse of a controlled worldview. When a person leaves a controlling group, the mind may keep working at night. Dreams can return to old meeting rooms, forbidden exits, angry leaders, or friends who will not speak. Sometimes the dream is not literal. It may be a maze, a locked house, a public test, or the feeling of being watched. This happens because leaving is not only intellectual. It can shake memory, identity, safety, and belonging all at once. Sleep becomes one place where the brain tries to sort the pieces. The frightening part is that the person may wake feeling as if the old world still has power. The hopeful part is that dreams can change over time. As waking life becomes safer, the sleeping mind often begins to revise the story. Doors open. Voices soften. The dreamer remembers they can leave, and the night slowly learns the shape of freedom. The body may remember control before the mind explains it. A former member may hear a phrase, smell a familiar room, see a certain gesture, or receive a demanding message, and suddenly feel their chest tighten. They may not know why at first. The body reacts before the story arrives. This is because control is not stored only as ideas. It can become linked to posture, voice tones, schedules, hunger, silence, and social danger. The nervous system learns patterns meant to keep a person safe. Later, those patterns can fire in ordinary situations that merely resemble the past. This can be confusing, but it is also meaningful. The body is not betraying the person. It is trying to protect them using old information. Healing often means updating that information through repeated safety. The mind learns. That was then. The body learns more slowly, but it can learn too. Autonomy often returns as a series of gentle experiments. After control, independence may not arrive as one grand declaration. It may return through small acts that seem ordinary from the outside and enormous from within. A person chooses what time to wake. They buy clothes because they like them. They listen to music that once felt forbidden. They visit a friend without asking permission. Each experiment gives the self new evidence. Nothing terrible happened. I can choose and remain safe. I can disappoint someone and still exist. These small moments matter because coercive systems often teach people to distrust their own preferences. The way back is not only through big decisions, but through daily contact with desire, comfort, boredom, and curiosity. Autonomy becomes a muscle warmed carefully back to life. The person does not have to know the whole future. They only need the next honest choice, and then the next. Cult memories can be tangled with genuine friendships and love. It would be easier if every memory was simply false or dark. But human life is rarely that neat. A person may remember laughter in the kitchen, a friend who cared during illness, songs that lifted them, or nights when the group felt like family. Those memories can coexist with manipulation, fear, and loss. This is one reason recovery can feel emotionally complicated. The former member may ask, "Was any of it real?" Often, the answer is that the love between people was real, while the system around it was controlling. Recognizing that distinction can be painful and freeing. It allows someone to grieve without pretending the harm was harmless. It also honors the fact that sincere people can be caught inside unhealthy structures. The heart may need time to separate the warmth of relationships from the machinery that used them. Compassion helps survivors more than ridicule ever could. Mockery may feel satisfying to outsiders, but it often deepens the wound. When survivors are laughed at, they may hear echoes of the shame that kept them trapped. They may feel foolish, exposed, or less willing to speak honestly about what happened. Compassion works differently. It asks what need was met, what pressure was applied, what love was threatened, and what courage it took to leave. This does not excuse harmful behavior. It creates a path for understanding it. Many survivors already carry regret over things they believed, said, or did under influence. Ridicule adds weight. Compassion helps them set the weight down long enough to examine it. It also makes public conversation more accurate. The story becomes less about gullible people and more about human vulnerability, social pressure, and the astonishing power of belonging when it is turned into control. Researchers now prefer precise terms like high control group. The word cult is common, but it can be blunt. It often carries images of strangeness, danger, and dramatic extremes, which may hide the details that actually matter. Researchers, therapists, and survivor advocates often use terms like high control group, coercive group, or authoritarian movement, because these phrases point to behavior rather than appearance. The question becomes clearer. How much freedom do members have? Can they question leadership? Can they leave without punishment? Are relationships, money, information, and identity being controlled? This precision matters because an unusual belief is not automatically harmful, and a respectable-looking group is not automatically safe. Careful language helps us see patterns instead of relying on stereotypes. It also gives survivors words that describe what happened without reducing their entire experience to a label. The more precise the language, the more clearly the psychology can be understood. The word cult can sometimes block careful understanding. A single label can close a conversation before it begins. Call a group a cult, and members may stop listening immediately because the word feels like an insult to their deepest loyalties. Outsiders may also stop thinking carefully, assuming the label explains everything. But the real questions are more interesting and more useful. How does the group handle doubt? Who benefits from obedience? What happens to people who leave? Are members free to keep outside friendships? Is fear being used to maintain loyalty? These questions reveal mechanisms. The label alone may only create distance. In some cases, avoiding the word at first can make dialogue safer. A concerned friend might get further by asking about sleep, pressure, money, or isolation than by attacking identity. Understanding begins when we look past the shock of the word and study the structure beneath it. Not every unusual belief system is psychologically controlling. Human cultures are filled with beliefs that may seem strange to outsiders. Some involve spirits, prophecies, strict diets, unusual dress, intense rituals, or separate communities. Difference alone is not the danger. A group can be unconventional and still allow conscience, privacy, questions, and free departure. The real concern begins when belief is joined to coercion. Are members punished for doubt? Are they cut off from loved ones? Is information filtered so they cannot compare fairly? Does the leader hold power without accountability? This distinction is essential. Without it, we risk confusing diversity with danger. We also miss harmful control when it appears in ordinary clothing. Cult psychology is not about mocking unusual ideas. It is about recognizing when a system reduces a person's ability to think, choose, connect, and leave. The weirdness is not the warning sign. The loss of freedom is. The danger lies in coercion, isolation, and stolen autonomy. At the heart of harmful group control is not simply strong belief. People can believe deeply and remain free. The danger appears when choice is slowly replaced by pressure, when relationships are narrowed, when fear becomes the fence, and when a person's inner life is treated as group property. Coercion may be emotional rather than physical. Isolation may happen through suspicion rather than locked doors. Stolen autonomy may look like guidance, discipline, or love. This is what makes the subject so important. The most dangerous control often disguises itself as care. It says, "We know what is best for you." It says, "You are safe only with us." It says, "Your doubts are proof you need more help." A free person can belong without disappearing. A controlled person is taught that disappearing is the price of belonging. Online communities can create control without a shared physical compound. The old image of a remote compound no longer captures the whole story. Today, a person can be drawn into a controlling world from a bedroom, a phone, or a comment thread. The group may never gather in one place, yet it can still shape language, time, loyalty, and fear. Online spaces can surround someone with constant messages, live streams, private chats, insider jokes, shared enemies, and urgent calls to action. Because the connection travels everywhere, there may be no clear boundary between group life and ordinary life. The person wakes to notifications and falls asleep after scrolling through the same worldview. Physical distance does not prevent emotional enclosure. In some ways, digital control can be harder to notice because there are no walls to point to. The walls are made of attention, repetition, and belonging, but never stops refreshing. Algorithms can intensify certainty by feeding narrow worlds repeatedly. Digital platforms learn what holds attention. If someone watches one alarming video, joins one intense forum, or follows one charismatic figure, the system may offer more of the same. Over time, the person can be pulled into a narrower stream of information without choosing that narrowing consciously. Each new post seems to confirm the last. Each recommended voice sounds more certain. Doubt has fewer chances to enter because the surrounding world keeps repeating the same emotional pattern. This can intensify conspiracy thinking, ideological purity, or loyalty to online leaders. The algorithm is not a cult leader, but it can strengthen the conditions in which high control thrives. It supplies repetition, urgency, isolation from disagreement, and the feeling that everyone informed believes the same thing. Certainty grows not because the world has been explored, but because the path has been quietly narrowed. Digital shaming can make members fear invisible crowds. Online punishment can feel limitless because the audience is hard to measure. A person who questions a group may fear screenshots, pylons, mocking posts, private messages, or being named as disloyal in front of people they barely know. The crowd may not be physically present, but it can feel everywhere. This creates a new kind of social pressure. Members learn to speak carefully, signal loyalty, and avoid ambiguity. They may delete doubts before posting them. They may perform enthusiasm because silence itself can be noticed. Digital shaming also lasts. A humiliating moment can be saved, shared, and revived later. In face-to-face communities, disapproval has a room. Online, it can feel like a sky. That invisible crowd can become a powerful tool of control because the person never knows how many eyes are waiting, watching, and ready to judge. Influencer culture can imitate charisma at enormous scale. Charisma once depended on a room, a stage, or a small circle of followers. Now it can travel through a screen to millions. An influencer can speak into a camera with warmth, certainty, and intimacy, making each viewer feel personally addressed. Daily posts create familiarity. Live streams create immediacy. Behind-the-scenes glimpses create the feeling of access. None of this is automatically harmful. Many creators entertain, teach, and build healthy communities. But the same tools can imitate the emotional closeness that charismatic leaders rely on. A follower may begin to trust someone they have never met more than people in their actual life. The figure on the screen becomes guide, friend, expert, and judge. When admiration turns into obedience and disagreement becomes betrayal, influencer culture can begin to echo older patterns of devotion, only faster, wider, and wrapped in the softness of personal branding. Parasocial bonds can make distant leaders feel personally intimate. A parasocial bond is a one-sided relationship that feels emotionally real. Viewers may know a creator's voice, habits, stories, pets, struggles, and favorite phrases. The creator does not know them, yet the viewer may feel seen. This can be comforting, especially during loneliness. It can also make people vulnerable to influence. If a distant leader feels like a trusted friend, their opinions may bypass normal caution. Their anger may feel justified. Their enemies may become the viewer's enemies. Their products, causes, or beliefs may feel personally recommended rather than publicly marketed. High control dynamics can use this intimacy without neutral responsibility. The follower gives trust, time, money, and identity to someone who cannot truly hold their life with care. The bond feels close, but its structure is unequal. That imbalance is where influence can grow unusually strong. Wellness language can disguise control as healing and growth. Words like healing, alignment, detox, breakthrough, and transformation can be genuinely useful in some contexts. They can also be used to make pressure sound compassionate. A leader may say that discomfort means resistance, that boundaries are fear, or that criticism shows someone is not ready to grow. Expensive courses, restrictive diets, endless sessions, or public vulnerability may be framed as necessary steps toward becoming whole. This can make refusal feel like self-sabotage. The person is not simply declining a demand. They are accused of blocking their own healing. Wellness language can be especially persuasive because it speaks to pain in a hopeful voice. It promises relief, clarity, and a better self. The danger comes when one person or system claims authority over the entire healing path. Growth should expand a person's life. In controlling settings, it often makes life smaller while calling the shrinking transformation. Conspiracy beliefs can offer identity, purpose, and secret knowledge. A conspiracy belief can do more than explain events. It can give a person a role. They are no longer confused or powerless. They are awake, brave, and able to see what others cannot. The world becomes a puzzle with hidden villains and secret patterns. That can be frightening, but it can also feel thrilling. Randomness turns into design. Loneliness turns into membership among the enlightened. Everyday research becomes a mission. This is why conspiracy communities can overlap with high control dynamics. Members may distrust outsiders, reject contrary evidence, and feel morally superior for enduring ridicule. The belief system offers certainty, belonging, and special knowledge all at once. It can make ordinary life feel charged with importance. The challenge is that the person may become less able to test ideas fairly because doubt feels like falling back asleep. Cult psychology reveals how social minds build shared reality. The deepest lesson is not only about extreme groups. It is about the social nature of reality itself. Human beings do not form beliefs in isolation. We watch faces, borrow language, trust communities, fear exclusion, and absorb the emotional tone of those around us. A group can therefore become a reality-making machine. It tells members what events mean, which feelings count, who can be trusted, and what future is coming. When enough people repeat the same meanings with enough intensity, the world can begin to feel different from inside the circle. This is unsettling, but also illuminating. It shows how much of ordinary life depends on shared agreement. Money, status, manners, nations, reputations, and identities all rely on collective belief. Cult psychology is a dramatic window into a universal human power. Together, minds can build worlds. The same forces that bind cults also bond healthy communities. Belonging, ritual, shared language, leadership, music, purpose, and sacrifice are not bad in themselves. They are some of the oldest ways humans create community. A family has rituals. A nation has symbols. A team has chants. A faith tradition has practices. A friendship group has inside jokes. The difference lies in freedom and accountability. Healthy communities use these forces to support people while leaving room for conscience, privacy, humor, doubt, and departure. Harmful groups use them to narrow identity and punish independence. This is why cult psychology is not only a warning, it is also a guide to better belonging. It teaches us to ask whether a community makes people larger or smaller. Does it connect them to the world or cut the world away? The same human glue can build a shelter or a cage. Understanding control can make freedom feel deeper, kinder, and wiser. After exploring these patterns, ordinary freedom may begin to look more precious. The ability to ask a question without fear, the right to rest, the space to change your mind, the chance to love people who disagree with you. These freedoms can seem simple until you understand how carefully they can be taken apart. Cult psychology shows us that autonomy is not only a political idea, it is a daily human need, woven through speech, friendship, privacy, sleep, memory, and choice. It also teaches compassion. People are not machines of logic. We are social creatures who need meaning and care. When we understand that, we can protect ourselves without becoming cynical. We can build communities that welcome questions, honor boundaries, and let people leave with dignity. Freedom becomes not just independence, but a kinder way of belonging. And so we come to the end of our journey through cult psychology. Tonight we explored how belonging can become a doorway, how certainty can feel like shelter, and how influence can move through language, ritual, fear, love, and hope. We saw how ordinary human needs can be reshaped by pressure, and how the mind can build whole worlds from shared belief. But we also found something gentler beneath it all: the importance of doubt, the quiet strength of choice, the courage it takes to ask a question, to keep a private thought alive, or to step back toward freedom one small breath at a time. So now, let all of that begin to settle. Imagine those ideas drifting away like pages turning softly in a dim room. Nothing needs to be solved now. Nothing needs to be held tightly. Just let your shoulders soften, let your breathing slow, and allow your thoughts to loosen their grip on the day. If you enjoyed this gentle journey, you're welcome to like, subscribe, or leave a thought below. It helps others find their way here too. And if you happen to still be awake, there is another video waiting on the screen, ready to carry you into another calm corner of science and wonder. But for now, rest. Let your mind become spacious again. Let the world grow quieter around you. Sleep well, and good night.